This waltz is one of the signature pieces from the French film Amélie, composed by Yann Tiersen. It moves constantly between feeling a bit sad and a bit hopeful, so it provides a perfect musical backdrop for the main character Amélie and the film's drama. Especially the early scenes of Amélie's childhood go so quickly between these emotions, and it's in a way mirrored in this microcosm of a musical composition. So let's start with this type of analysis. What are the chords? D minor to A minor with a painful appoggiatura on the B, which is the 9 resolving to A. And we also have the B in the chord as an A minor, add 9, provides some extra tension. But generally D minor to A minor, minor minor, feels a bit sad, kind of disheartened, not much hope to life. Then it's repeated. Some nice ornament. But then, so F major to C major, also C major 7, extra coziness on that. But it's 2 major chords, suddenly it's warm and hopeful. So it comes again with the same type of harmony. And then we start over with the D minor. And when it's simple harmony like this, you can kind of sense a more pure emotional charge in a way, because usually in music, and especially in classical music, it's more complex, like different things moving at the same time in different levels, so it's not as clear cut. But here it's just very straightforward, one harmony change at a time, so it's more direct. And then we keep looping around these changes. So now the second time we added an octave to make the melody more pressing a bit higher up. So we only have this limited material that keeps repeating, but it gets deployed in new versions with new variations all the time throughout the piece. And this is what constitutes minimalism. And a big part of the meaning of the music resides in exactly the variation. And it's very well done in this piece. It keeps it interesting with new variations. So we'll see how he does that throughout the piece. So we've already seen the first section, so it's like 2 times. And basically the piece is 4 big parts of 2 times each. So 8 times in total, but the second time is always similar to the first. So as what happened the first time is added an octave, and now for the second time he adds something new here. So we get rhythm, and by the way, yeah, now it's in triple time, normal waltz time signature. It starts in 2/4, which is it's hard to get away with a waltz in 2, and he does it for a reason that it's not that clear, because it's mostly in 1. It's only 1 in a bar. Like you could have. And then here we have a quarter note, which is like dividing the bar in 2 instead. But it's so these triplets are ambiguous rhythmically, because they could just as clearly be in 3 as in 2. Like they come later, but here we don't have that subdivision yet. So it's mostly in 1, which is compatible with the waltz, but the subdivision is in 2. Now we get it very clearly in 3. Lovely inner voices, inner movement in the voice in the right hand. This aching, it's the 9 on the D minor all the time going. Use a lot of 9s in this piece. So we still have the subdivision in 2 in the melody here. But now it's clearly syncopated when you have the beat in 3. Also the melody is not exactly the same, but it's the same melody notes and kind of the same contour, but it's more even melody notes here. So resolving this on the beat. into major. So here the melody just stays still to leave room for the other movement that's going on. A lot of this, like a secondary voice, takes over here. Nice movement. So now this gets repeated. We're still like in the big second group, because this is mostly the same. It's one variation that's very nice early on. So now he changes the contour and goes up to E instead. So more pressing, more aim and ambition in the melody. Super nice variation. Like iconic for the piece too. And this is another type of variation. So instead of going down as in the first time when we have the F major, it goes down to E with the C. Now he goes, I mean, just a different version, still the same chords and the same type of inner movement. This is the F major 7. Like he uses diatonic notes in A minor and they line up to create nice color notes with the chords. But so the motion is constantly pushing forward, so it goes seamlessly between the groups. Now we enter the third group, it goes back to minor. Now it's forte, it's another important variation to increase energy, and we get these lovely waves in the left hand. So they're the same for all 4 chords. They go with the chord notes, with the extra 9 as a passing note. And the melody is something slightly new, still the same core notes in the melody, but new path between them. So that's one round. Now for the second time within the third group, we get an octave higher again. And this melody is actually the same as we have in the beginning, but over the still chords. So here. So these eighth note triplets movement is what we get here. And then on the F. Okay, now we reach the fourth group. So until here we've had new material all the time, but now it's nothing more new, but he uses the previous material but in a new configuration still. So we keep the waves, and the right hand plays what we do for the second group with the inner voices and an octave higher. So we get something new, a new sum of those parts together. Also very important to go down in dynamic here, I think, to create something new. It's really nice expression to play it pianissimo, and probably the hardest part of the piece to get these lined up and a nice sound balance. The second time we get the variation with the E in the melody as well. And here I kind of go forward a little bit to do the pianissimo first and then kind of get back up to it a little bit again. So we get a little bit of a coda at the end. So just an echo from the beginning, these still chords to close down the piece in a nice low energy, like where it started, to tie the circle back. Just lovely, just one time, so only the minor chords, so it feels like it's only half a time. And a small ritardando is nice, I think. And end on this lovely A minor add 9. And that's Amelie's waltz. A few words on if you're learning this and playing this. So it's manageable to play, slightly harder than the comptine from Amélie 2. I think that's even more straightforward. This you have to find these eighth notes and line them up in a good way. It takes some work. But there is a special type of difficulty that comes with this because it's so relentless. It keeps going, and if you're practicing, like I noticed when I was practicing it, you can get tired in the hand and a bit tense just by it needs to play constantly. So just beware of that, and you might need to rest every once in a while to not get too tense. And then also with this type of music, minimalistic music, when it's not that much happening musically, it is in the texture and as we've seen, but still the same harmony over and over. It is more important to do interesting things musically, like what you can do as a performer with the dynamic and articulation. Not so much articulation because it's just legato, nice melody notes, but the dynamic. So really go up to forte in the third group, I think, as it says, and then pianissimo when it comes here. Lovely feeling. And it's more important to do more of that when it's not that much specified as the composition. So thanks for watching Sonata Secrets, and a special Patreon shout out goes to I. Haynes.